SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right. Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Steve Azar here, grateful for you tuning in into my 9th year. I mean, come on, are you kidding? Visit Mississippi.org. We're the birthplace of America's music. Celebrate that. It's hallowed ground here. Today we're going to go to Nashville. Someone that's actually from there. I mean, my guitar player is from there, but they're the only two people that I will officially know from there that just didn't move there like I did back in 91 and then coming back home to the Delta in 2011. Raised in a deeply musical household, she's been immersed in songcraft from a very early age, from studying, is it the viola or the viola? It depends on what state you're in. Tomato as a child to developing a distinctive finger-picking guitar style. She's drawn inspiration from artists like Nick Drake, just his name to start there. There's so many. We'll talk about that. I don't want to give too much away. While carving out a sound that feels entirely her own. Very important. Her music blends melancholic melodies, poetic imagery, and haunting intimacy, qualities that defined her debut project produced by Robin Eaton. With early singles like My Youth Is All For You, that On My Way Down, already drawing some really cool attention. She is emerging as a compelling new voice in contemporary folk. I'm excited to talk to her about her influences, her songwriting process, and the stories behind her striking debuts. Please welcome in Maisie Owen. What's up, Maisie?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. You're actually from there.
Yeah, no, I was born here.
You weren't. Come tell me the truth. Like literally on Nashville soil.
No, literally, yeah, like in West End.
Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm
young?
23.
23. So our kids were born at Baptist there, right off the strip of where you were talking West End. So,
wow.
but you probably were born over in Baptist or somewhere close to it.
I was born in my parents' bedroom, actually.
Oh, well, that's cool, is what that is. It sounds like to me your household was like the dinner table or after dinner, or I feel like I'm the Andy Griffith Show when they're out on the porch, or Nutty Professor when things may have been going on. Not sure how big your family is, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the influence of music in your family, it was all around, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every night at dinner, my dad would put on a record. We would listen to all kinds of stuff. My dad listens to a lot of blues, but I mean, there was a couple months where he was exclusively listening to like the first like techno albums that came out and like weird ambient stuff like that. I mean, we listened to everything. Wow.
You know, Dan Tominski is a good buddy of mine from Allison Krauss in Union Station. And he got a call one day from, you talk about techno, or you talk about even the DJ world and all that. They're sort of synonymous with each other, from Avicii, before Avicii passed. And he got a call from his manager saying they wanted him to do this song called Oh Brother. And he was going like, what is that? Like, who is that? And so he said no. And then his manager, Shelley, said, why don't you just listen to what he's, just give it a shot. So he was talking to his daughter, and his daughter, and he just said, man, I got some call from a guy named, wants me to do a record of Avicii. And the daughter, of course, knew who Avicii was. He goes, Dad, are you kidding me? You've got to do that record. And, it's an historical record. I mean, the record was off the charts, and he ends up being in his documentary, and you never know. You're in that world to me of where Dan lives and Alison Krauss, and the folk world is to me a very sort of, it's reverent to me. And what drew you toward that? If your influences were sort of vast, swimming around you, your dad giving you all these kinds of music, what led you to folk? Because I feel like you're really finding yourself right now.
Yeah. I feel like I wouldn't have originally put myself in like a folk vein. I was trained on the viola for like 10, 12 years maybe. So that was all classical music. But when I would like have the most fun playing was when I would just improvise. And I remember we learned a little tune called Cripple Creek. And like, it's a lot of slides. It's like a lot more raw than classical music. And I loved playing like that. And yeah, my dad writes Americana. He plays Americana. My godfather, David Only, also is in the Americana lane. And I feel like that was a lot of what I was around when I would like see live music or just hear my dad playing on the porch and stuff. Mm-hmm. When I started playing guitar, David Only sat me down and told me that finger picking would really suit me. And he taught me just like a really...
Why do you feel? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what made him think about that? Was it just something sort of natural to you that felt easy?
I don't remember if I was like singing or really like in front of people at that point. It was when I was like about 13. I think he just wanted to show me something different while I was still so new to learning. Because I feel like when you like don't know anything about an instrument, you can kind of pick up any style and any technique a lot easier. And yeah, I don't really know what made him say that, but I'm really glad he did because I've taken that and just kind of ran with it.
You use all 5 fingers?
I don't know if I use the pinky on my right hand. Maybe sometimes.
Well, we need to get rid of it. You don't need it then. What are you talking about?
I want it.
You need to keep it. All right. Yeah. You know what I do? I just sort of taught myself growing up, and I like to hold a pick. So I've got to hold a pick with a thumb and one of the fingers. And I learned to use my thumb, in 2 fingers. I put it in these 2 fingers, a pick. And I use the other 2 fingers and my thumb to finger pick, and I just learned to finger pick faster with those. And that way I can I bounce back and forth.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, it's funny how we learn, you sort of adapt to what is, what you have. And, obviously I have friends that are really, really good finger pickers that it's almost like religion to them to watch them play and they're just so precise and all that. And, I feel like I'm pretty precise, but they always go, how are you getting to those strings with just those fingers? And I go, don't ask me that because that's going to screw me up because I can't think about it.
Think about it.
I love it. So where'd you go to high school? Or you homeschooled?
No, I went to Nashville School of the Arts.
I love it. So tell our listeners about that. We have a Mississippi School of the Arts. A friend of mine, Representative Becky Curry, has poured her heart and soul into, and it's just past Jackson and Belhaven, Mississippi. Kids come from different places and live there on campus. What's it like there in Nashville?
So this is a public high school, but you like auditioned to get in.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different conservatories. There was like literary arts, orchestra, visual arts. There was a guitar conservatory, which I joined my junior year, but then COVID hit and learning guitar through Zoom calls was pretty weird. So I ended up graduating online early. But while I was at the school, my focus was orchestra and symphony. And we had like 3 classes a day and then sometimes after school rehearsals. And then like we would do out of school competitions and workshops and stuff like that. So I was like really drilling the classical music for a really long time. I think it was really good for me.
I love it. I love it. We're going to take a quick break. Where are you at, by the way? Where am I interviewing you from?
I am at my boyfriend's house in East Nashville on the porch.
Does he know you're there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure you didn't sneak up and just climb up the wall back there and he's going to walk out and go, hey, honey, you're here. I love it.
I think he does. Unless he needs glasses.
Have you been to visit you've been to Mississippi before? Crossed over the lines?
I've been to Hattiesburg.
Okay, so you've made your way significantly into Mississippi. We'll talk about that in a minute after the break. Visit Mississippi.org allows me to interview the future of music, and that is in Maisie Owen. You got to check her out. Her new record, My Youth Is All For You, this one of the singles, and On My Way Down. Both are out right now everywhere you stream and listen to music. I want to dig into what the inspiration behind those songs were, how she, her writing process. I want to dig into that. We'll do that after the break. Stay tuned. I'm finally home.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
Russell Williamson here.
Water, and we're in too deep. Yeah,
Visit Mississippi.org. You can eat your way around Mississippi. A lot of Michelin mentions. It's interesting that Michelin did not come to the South like they have recently until basically the last couple of years. And that's, why would they not come to the South where we know how to cook? I mean, like, nobody knows how to make grits but us. If you go up north and eat grits, there's nothing in it. And today's guest can tell you all about that. I guarantee she knows how to make grits, or she's got to like them. And if she doesn't, she's going to lie to me. Maisie Owen is my guest today. Spectacular folk artist by way of Nashville, Tennessee. So she's been raised on that hallowed ground there. Maisie, what's it been like growing up in Music City for you? Let me back up for a second. I was there when in the heyday. So I was 91 to 2011. You weren't around yet when I got there, but we used to be on Music Row every day and the publishing different deals that we had. And we were all trying to have hits, and we all started to have hits, and I was obviously doing it for myself as an artist on the road. And about 10 years into it, I was on the road and forever on the road and doing it a different way. But Music Row is not Music Row anymore. It's a lot of the people we knew sold their buildings and cashed out, and it's just a different vibe in the town. Do you remember Music Row like it was, or is there any nostalgia there that that you recall, or what is Music Row or Music City like to you creatively?
So that's cool that you asked that, because I actually had a meeting at BMI yesterday with my dad came with me. And I don't really have like any nostalgic ties to Music Row. I don't really remember it much from my childhood. But when we were driving down, my dad was pointing out all of these buildings and telling me what it used to be like. He pointed out this building and he said it used to be like an office where you could pay like $1 or $2 and you would get a tip sheet for like who was looking for cuts. Like so-and-so wants a ballad, so-and-so wants a number one. And you would just go home and like try to like write that song and send it off. And
yeah.
It pointed out to me Waylon Jennings' old building, and yeah, it was really cool. All those buildings are new now, and I think the culture's probably shifted a lot.
RCA is still there, right? Studio B and all that. I think it's still in the mix of all that that's sitting there.
I think.
Yeah, there's not much, but I mean, there's some places. But can you imagine being? So I was 27 when I moved there and had my first deals. Could you imagine walking up and down the road with your guitar? Everybody sort of meets and does lunch together. Everybody's listening to each other's song. We're all trying to figure out, can it be done? But yes. So it was very invigorating. It was like a wonderful time of like helping each other up, you know? And we were all pulling for each other. We weren't competing. It was never a feeling of like we were in competition with each other. We all needed each other to succeed, so we knew that it was possible. You know, like we were, as a unit. So there was these huge celebrations when, obviously on the dime of whoever had to hit. They had to spend the money.
Yeah.
It's like making a hole in one in golf. You're buying for everybody. But we had so much fun. And back then they'd have the big number one parties and so it was always something we were looking forward to. But we were just like, it was like we were a child in the greatest candy store or church you could ever be in. And it felt incredible. So what does your writing process look like for you? Are you into the creative co-writing thing? And where do you go to find your inspiration writing wise?
So I actually don't co-write.
That a girl.
I am I probably will at some point in my life, but I feel like with my process, it would just feel strange, I guess. Stuff kind of just comes to me when it comes to me. It obviously comes more often if I sit down and play for 3 hours every day.
Sure.
But yeah. I mean, I had this one song where I just woke up at 6 a.m. with the phrase and a melody in my head from a dream that I had. And I just had to wake up and go write it down. And I probably worked on it for a month before I fully fleshed it out. But I don't know. I get inspiration from all over. I keep a document in my phone and probably 5 or 6 journals around my house, one of them in my truck. And I just kind of anytime a phrase or an idea pops into my head, I'll write it down. Not with the intention of it becoming a song later, but just to kind of remember it, even if it ends up being a haiku or a poem or just a memory or something. And then when I'm working on a song and I'm a little stuck, I can look through all of my poetry and ideas and stuff like that. And I'm less so looking for a concept and more so looking for a specific word or a phrase or something. And then it'll just kind of click, if that makes sense. And then it feels like I was meant to be sitting on that phrase for 3 years or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, you're you're living life every day and you're experiencing all these things, and you may have that word that's sitting in the back of your brain or is somewhere in your heart, and it's there always. And what's happening is you're acquiring and accumulating all of this stuff, this furniture, as we call writing about, making things, furniture and songs. But whatever it is, it's making its way to that spot where you've come up with that title. But you don't have to necessarily think about it. It's sort of just it just sort of builds up, and then all of a sudden you grab the pen or the pen grabs your hand, one or the other, and it just comes out because you've seen it all and lived it all and experienced it all, and you're tuned in just enough to know that it's coming. And it's going to, when it's I love this because you've sort of discovered something that a lot of us took a long time. So I never co-written until I was 27. So you still got time, but it was a beauty in it that it was difficult being vulnerable with somebody else, rather than your own thoughts. But it was a beautiful thing because when you were able to do that, you really built up these incredible relationships that were intimate in a way, that you never thought that you could share with somebody that's not your spouse or your, best friend or your parents or your siblings. I mean, it is an amazing bond, and it comes from being vulnerable. And that's a tough word for some guy that's supposed to be acting like he's tough, or some girl's supposed to be acting like she's tough, or, so, but you got to get over that. And it was difficult for me for a second, but I think that you would enjoy the process, but you're on the right path. What I mean is, I like the fact that you're doing it this way, and it's going to be on your own terms rather than you having to do it. And if you meet somebody that y'all start collaborating, it just I think it's going to happen very naturally and organically is what I mean. Yeah, that's exactly how I'd want it to be if it were to happen. I think one big catch for me when I think about writing with another person is that I don't generally know what the song is about till either halfway through or a few days after. Or even, I have this one song that's coming out on the album. It's the last track. It's called It All Ends the Same. And I kind of put together what that song was about a year and a half after I wrote it. And I've asked people what it's about, and most people tell me that they think it's about death, but that's not the conclusion that I came to. I actually kind of figured it was about drinking, but I guess you can kind of. Which can lead to death. All those things can kind of run together. Yeah. But it's interesting because I was bartending and I was talking to someone at the bar about drinking, and then I was like, oh,
oh my God, it all makes sense. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like I wrote it about drinking or that it has to be about drinking to anyone else, but I feel like it makes perfect sense to how I feel about drinking. You know what I mean? Sure. I totally get it. And drinking can be this wonderfully spirited thing that, in a controlled situation, it's so awesome. You know, it's great. It's like either coffee the same way, but obviously if you drink too much alcohol, bad things can happen. And, at some point you got to make sure you're accountable, you know, for everybody's sake, not just your own, your family, other people you don't know and all that. Now I'm trying to sound like your father. I'm sorry. I apologize. I can't help it. Visit Mississippi.org. Thank you guys for all these years of being with me. As the music and culture ambassador of Mississippi and the author of our state song, I am so grateful for all the opportunities afforded to me growing up as a kid, like it is in Music City for my guest today, Maisie Owen. Check her out. The new songs that are out, My Youth is All For You, On My Way Down. Hey, Maisie, what's the name of the album? Dark on a Sunny Day. Dark on a Sunny Day. I love that. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
We're in cold water, and I shall believe.
$20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
From the Seabrook.
In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Dark on a Sunny Day. I'm going to say it again. Dark on a Sunny Day by Maisie Owen is the album. My Youth is All For You, On My Way Down are singles that have been released. Another single's about to come. Please check her out. This is like, I'm trying to explain musically what she's like. You're just going to have to go listen because I don't want to say anything that's off base and I don't want to compare her to anybody. I really feel like, Maisie, that you've sort of, somehow, at this tender age of 23, found your honest self. You know, I don't mean to scare you because you already passed it, and I know you're evolving. There's no doubt. Every day that you're living, you're evolving because I know you're paying attention to that. But to find your honest self at this tender age, I think what I mean is 30 years from now, you're going to look back at this record and you're going to love it and you're going to want to play songs off of it. Yeah. And I think that is, and you're going to tell stories of why you wrote those songs during this period in your life. And I just feel like that you've captured the moment. I like that way of looking at it. I think so too. I really like all of these songs. I know a lot of people feel like they, like 5 years past or something, they look back on songs they wrote before and they like find them embarrassing. But I don't think that's going to happen. It hasn't happened so far. Yeah. I feel like if it was going to happen, it would have happened already, you know? Well, there's a maturity of the youthfulness and that you're writing about to me that lends itself to no timeline is the best way I can explain it. Just listening to your lyrics and how you sort of perceive things and see things. All right. Different instruments. Let's talk about this. Yeah. How many instruments do you play?
Technically I would say viola and guitar, but I mean, if you can play guitar, you can kind of play bass. And if you can play viola, you can play violin. And then since I have a decent ear, I would say I can't read sheet music, but I can definitely play the piano and make it sound good.
Yeah. So let's say 5, 6 instruments that you can go to.
Yeah.
Melodically, it's insane how I'll go from one thing to the other. And the melodies, they just, because of the instrument, takes on a whole different life form.
Yeah.
For you, I want to know what the viola does for you. And have you written songs using the viola as the main instrument to inspire the melody and the lyric?
I wouldn't say I've used it as the main instrument, but track 2 on the record that's coming out is called Letters. And it's got like a really melodic, minor key guitar part. And when I was listening to the recording in my car, like when it was half finished, I was just hearing this other melody over it and the song felt incomplete without it. So we went into the studio and I just played it on the viola and I literally could not hear the song without the viola part. Like the part is so important.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Okay, because to me it was going to be a little odd. I wanted to know if it's possible that you've done that. But obviously it's paint. You're painting colors with the viola around your projects and you're hearing those things weave in and out and they have to happen. They're like the flowers blooming on a tree or whatever. Yeah. But okay, so Dark on a Sunny Day. If you ask me, Steve, what do you think my album title means? I could do a lot of guessing, but let's get the truth out of it. What does the interpretation of that mean and why that song?
I feel like it's kind of like the concept, I would say, is like the one thing that kind of keeps you in the dark, will keep you in the dark no matter what, even if it's sunny outside, even if everything is beautiful and everything is perfect, there's still one thing. There's still one thing that can kind of make you just go dark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is like me asking 10 questions. These aren't stock questions, by the way. These are thought out. These are well thought out. I was prepared. You write songs a lot. You talk about writing a word down. You talk about writing them in poetry form. You talk about writing stories. How do you decide when something is worthy of becoming a song?
Okay. So when I'm playing guitar and something is sticking, a picking pattern, a chord, a melody is kind of coming out on the guitar, I will kind of just start to hum. And gradually I'll start to make like sounds and syllables and stuff like that. And normally something that I've previously written down will just kind of come out of my brain and I'll sing a line. And then after I sing that line, I'll go back and I'll look at it, I'll reread it. And a lot of the time I'm like, oh, this is a really good concept. I'll write a verse. I'll be like, God, I don't know what I'm writing about. I'll write a chorus. Still don't know what I'm writing about. Changing like little things here and there. Go outside, walk around. I put my headphones in and just listen to the voice memo, come back in, write a little bit more, and then I start to kind of, oh, like that's what this is about. Yeah. And then I'll find something else I wrote about that thing and kind of piece it together, you know?
So you're alone. So you don't have anybody to bounce it off of. And so
I bounce it off of once it's done.
Yeah, but like, the process itself though, till it's done, it's just you. So you're going on these walks, you're going to lunch, you're driving, you're doing other things, and you're listening to what you've got, and it's sort of in this, it is sort of in the womb, right? It just won't.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's like giving birth.
Yeah, it is, exactly. So when you co-write, there's obviously somebody else there to bounce stuff back. It happens faster because it doesn't mean that it happens right. And you always get it because somebody else is in the room. It makes me think of why we co-wrote. Because you wanted to just get as many songs written as possible to have your best opportunity. That's not necessarily the best way to do it. The one thing writing a lot did, and it does, is it opens the door to an opportunity to write something great. because you're practicing all the time. And you and I both know there's certain songs that you have that you feel like, why does that stick out as something so special compared to the rest? You know?
Yeah.
Right? Does Dark on a Sunny Day stick out to you like that? I mean, obviously it's the title of your album, you know?
Yeah. It's partly the title because I just love that phrase so much, and I feel like that phrase kind of encompasses the sound in a way. I feel like if you were to sum up the album, it's a dark album on a sunny day, or you know what I mean? It's both dark and light at the same time. It has like a purity to it. But no, I really love that track. I wrote that one in the middle of the night. When I showed it to my mom, she said the guitar reminded her of a heartbeat. And I really, really like that because the guitar part is like really driving.
Yeah.
But then the lyrics are really kind of, the lyrics are dark, but the vocals are like
hopeful sounding.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm telling you that they're sort of that fixes the darkness to me. But Dark on a Sunny Day, to me, does that represent anything about you, or does it represent the generation that maybe the anxiety, the where you guys are looking at the world like you are now? Does that represent any of that to you?
I mean, definitely. I really like talking to people about how they interpret the songs and what they get from them, because they can mean something totally different and represent something totally different to literally everybody. And it's nice to know that. Like, I'll always know, like, exactly, like, what it's about, but art is supposed to be interpreted.
Sure. No, it is, but it's funny when you're writing something and you, even if it's in general to you, but yet you sort of get to why you wrote the song and you know why, and then it means something so far away from your thought to someone else and everywhere in between. And that is the beauty of what we get to do for a living, because you just don't know how they're going to see it or hear it or feel it or why or what they were going through at that time in their life or what it reminds them of. That is the beauty of what you and I mean, have gotten to do so far in our lives. I know I'm a lot further along than you are, but the gift to be able to do it, I know you appreciate it. Let's take a quick break. We've got a short segment left with the wonderful Maisie Owen. Her latest album, is it your debut album or latest album? I hadn't asked that. Debut. It's brand, wait, you're very young. Is Dark on a Sunny Day. But she is young, but this girl is way ahead of her time. From her playing to her writing to her singing. She gets herself, she knows herself, and visit Mississippi.org, knows itself. Check it out, plan a road trip. We got to get Maisie down on some Mississippi soul to bring that style of music, to tear it up. We'll be right back.
I'm doing it right. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
Be sure to tune in.
Driving this 75 Cadillac. I've got the top row back.
Got a short segment left.
on a southern
with no one short of talent. Maisie Owen is my guest today. She's got tons of talent and tons of highway and interstate in front of her. That's for sure with her career. Dark on a Sunny Day is her debut album. I'm finding out things as I go. I've got this stuff written up here, but now as I'm talking to Maisie, I feel like I don't like looking at all the notes up there and the questions because I'm looking at her. And I'm just trying to have a conversation. So bear with me when I ask questions that I should know the answers to. My listeners, Maisie, are used to Steve going sideways. Steve goes sideways a lot. Visit Mississippi.org. Love you guys. Plan a road trip. We have the country music trail markers. We have blues trail markers, the Writers Trail, the Freedom Trail. If you do the blues trail, you're going to end up all the way in Liverpool with the Beatles invasion. So it's a special thing. Take a road trip and take your loved one with you, or you'll find a loved one there. All right, Maisie, question here. On My Way Down, in one sitting, you mentioned writing this because I want to talk about the songs that take a while versus the ones that slowly develop.
Yeah. I wrote On My Way Down like kind of ridiculously quickly. Like that almost never happens. I think with that one, as soon as I sung the phrase, because it was one of those things, I was playing my guitar, I was mumbling, and then I just sang the chorus, I don't want to be alone on my way down. And I was like, oh, because I'd had a friend say something so similar to that to me this very one specific night. And I thought, oh, I could write about that night. So I pulled up the poem I wrote when I got home at like 4 a.m, and I looked through it, and I found a couple lines from it: red walls, a wan and waning smile, I'd follow you down, if it'd make you stay a while.
Wow. So back up for a second. First line, what was the first line you said about the walls?
Red walls, a wan and waning smile.
So I noticed that and I heard that. It's a lot of furniture to me. I have visuals of it. In your mind, why?
I think the room of the bar we were in, it had red walls, and I was kind of realizing that I didn't want to be there and that I didn't want the things around me that were happening to be happening, and
nice.
I kind of felt like the smile starting to crack. So I wrote that down. And yeah, the song just came out really quickly because it was just like such a set in stone event to write about, which hardly ever happens. Do your friends that don't do music for a living, do they hate you because all of a sudden you'll disappear on them in a conversation because you see those red balls? No, they're great. I have my 2 closest friends, we were all hanging out one night, we were watching TV, and I got an idea for the song God Fear. And I was like, do you guys mind if I just work on this right now? And they were like, that's fine. And they were at my house on my couch watching TV, hanging out, and I was on the floor for like 4 hours working on this song. And then once I got to like a natural stopping point, I just said, hey guys, I'm back. They were like, sounds great. And that was it. It was great. Nobody minded. You got great support. Our friends, my friends growing up, there were sometimes supportive and sometimes like, you're not doing that right now. You're coming back to us. Steve, wake up, get out of that place you're in. Let's go. We're going. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can't take me away from this. I'll never find it again. And it's funny you talk about a dream. I swear, I think the best song I ever wrote, I had a dream and I saw it all. I thought I got up and wrote it all down. I saw me writing it all down, and I woke up and it wasn't there. No. And I went through the whole thing, and at that point, I was a teenager. You're looking for, trying to find, the song, working so hard, and I go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But I swear I saw every word, but then when I woke up, I couldn't remember. Dreams are crazy things. Oh yeah, no, it's hard. They're very fleeting. Yeah, they're not fair, is what they are. And as you get a little older, they really get weird. I'm like really weird, especially when you take melatonin. I mean, oh my God, yeah. There's another story there. Crazy. Okay, the song "On My Way Down," we talked about that in one sitting. My Youth Is All For You didn't work out that way. Started out as a poem written in a bar. Yeah. Do you often write in transient or third spaces like that? I used to. I don't drink anymore, so a lot less. But back when I did, I had a bar that I would go to. They had a patio. I would go alone, and I had a routine of just sitting there for like 6 hours or something with a notebook, and I would just write the entire time. And it was really good practice. Like I would write essays, I would write poems, like literally whatever popped into my head. and I was facing the dilemma of whether or not I wanted to leave Nashville. And if I was going to leave, it had to be like next month for the situation that I was in. And I was just kind of thinking about life going on without me. And I wrote this poem, and then it came back to me like a few days later, weeks later maybe, when I was playing the guitar. I just couldn't get it out of my head, and I thought the parts went together.
Yeah, life going on without me. If you hadn't written that yet, you need to write that. That was great what you just said. I love it. I love it. Well, this time in Mississippi, as in Nashville's a little slow as well, because we like to take our time, we're patient, is up. So I appreciate you taking the time, Maisie. You're a heck of an artist, and you got a big future in front of you. And that started when the first time your folks put the arts in your hands.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
I loved it. Maisie Owen, everybody. Debut album is out, Dark on a Sunny Day. Visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip. Love your Mississippi. Maisie's by way of Nashville, not too far away. Blessings to you all. Have a great weekend.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.